Okay, let me think. It's a 7.
What suit?
Diamonds. No, wait, hearts.
Oh my God, 7 of hearts, you're right.
Hey, Ash, I guessed the card right.
Yeah, truly amazing, Linda.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Josh.
Cody.
From Crazy from the Heat. We just wanted to give you a little a pre-roll before we rolled the interview that we did. We had the opportunity to hang out and talk with Betsy Baker, and she is from the original Evil Dead. She played Linda, the girlfriend of Ash. She was awesome. She was cool. She and if you haven't seen the movie, you're wild. You're wild, dude.
Crazy.
You're wild. You're crazy, dude.
Get out of here. But
absolutely incredible. She did incredible in that movie. She did a whole bunch of stuff, which we found out that she did some plays and stuff like that too, which we didn't. We had no idea that she did. So that was cool.
Yeah.
That
There was a lot,
cool.
a lot behind the scenes info, a lot of cool stuff. It was a good conversation.
It was cool.
Smooth sailing, solid.
Like we said previously, it was a great opportunity, and we thank her so much because she's awesome.
Absolutely.
And I think my favorite thing about it was that we didn't just talk about Evil Dead. I think going in, we probably thought that, at least I did, speaking for myself, I thought that we were going to focus mainly on like that.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad we didn't. We talked actually like more about her and the things that she likes and the things that she does and what she's got going on and what she did. And it was awesome. It was fucking cool, dude. It was
I had
great.
a good time. It was hopefully we can talk in the future because it was fun.
Yeah, it was great. So thank you again, Betsy Baker, for doing this with us. That was
Absolutely.
You were the first outside guest that we've ever had. So
Yeah.
it's awesome, man. Thank you, and we hope that you come back on sometime soon. So without further ado, it's our interview with Betsy Baker.
Going on, Betsy? How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you guys doing?
Doing really well.
Not too bad.
We
Good.
appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Let's
So,
get down to business. Let's get down to business, boys.
Yeah. What you been up to? What's going on? Got anything
well,
going on?
The last 2 or 3 days, we've been trying to stay not flooded. That's for sure.
Oh,
We live in
yeah.
Southern California, and we don't live on a hill, which is a really great thing. And we don't live at the bottom of a hill, which is an even better thing. But we did get a little flooded here. So, yeah, what you're seeing is true. It's a Pineapple Express atmospheric river rainstorm / everything. But you know what? Everything's okay.
Well, I'm glad you're all right.
That's good. I saw
Yes.
like 10 inches of rain or something like that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. Yeah. But you know,
Really?
other areas have had it just as bad, and people get snowstorms and people get droughts. So hey,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's
there is
true.
no. I want to reassure everybody and all your listeners, and there is no climate change problem. So just don't even worry about it. Don't
So-
even.
Was there, so because I've been keeping up on I just heard like little things here and there. So was it like a big crazy weather phenomenon kind of coming through, right? Like they weren't expecting anything
Yeah.
like that? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's just heavy rain. We don't often get heavy rain. And the
Right.
interesting thing about it, and I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Michigan, and
Right.
the East Coast. And they get rain, but you get a heavy storm that blows through because a front is coming through. This one just decided to like park and lose its keys. So
Right.
it just
So it's just-
never stopped.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of just hanging out there then, and it's just nonstop. How long have you been
Yeah.
out there? Because you said you were from Michigan, right?
Yeah, I actually grew up in Michigan. I was born in Iowa. But I grew up in Michigan. But I've been here for a long time, like 42 years, 43 years.
Oh.
Whoa, that's
But
cool.
I actually still consider Michigan my home.
That's awesome. We're from Ohio, so
Yeah. So as much as I'd like to be happy that you're from Michigan, I don't know. It's a little. We're Ohio.
I knew you were back there from somewhere around there because I can hear the accent.
yeah. We get that a lot. We're from Southern Ohio, so it's like about an hour. It's called Chillicothe, about an hour south of Columbus.
Yep. That's the name of the city, Chillicothe?
Yeah,
Oh, I like that name. I like that
Yeah.
name a lot.
it's
Yeah.
like it's Native American based, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of all the yeah.
Yeah, they
Very
used
cool.
to, all the Native Americans, or I don't know, maybe just the Shawnee people, they would call that the name of wherever they were settling for the time. And this was a big hub of a time that whenever they had settled down here. So that just stayed. The
Yeah.
name of it just stayed. It was the first capital of Ohio, actually.
Wow, very cool.
We're stuck here. We're still here. You're in California,
No, you're
and
not
we're
stuck
here.
That's your home. That's your home.
That's true. That's true. So, speaking of you being from Michigan, so of course, if anybody doesn't know that Betsy was on the original Evil Dead legendary movie, like, I mean, literally, like, shifted not only like pop culture and horror culture, but music culture too. Like, there's the amount of times, especially in like death metal and like extreme music, the amount of times that we've played with bands that had samples that would play of like one-liners and stuff. It kind of like it kind of ingrained itself into extreme music and extreme like just culture in general, movies, music, all that stuff, punk, hardcore kind of thing. Now,
That's so funny that you say that because we go to conventions all the time as actresses from Evil Dead, Teresa
okay.
and Rich Domaniker, who played Scotty. And last year, Teresa and I I guess after all these years, we're still old dogs can still learn new tricks, or old goats, I guess. But we actually attended it was a convention, they say, but it was a festival of hard rock, heavy metal. And we said, well, why are you inviting us? And they said, oh, you don't know why? You don't know why? I said, and we said, no, actually, we really don't know why, we're attending this. And we thought maybe a couple of the band's theme song, had something, but he goes, oh no, there's a huge, interconnecting thread with heavy metal music and things like Evil Dead and some of those horror movies. We learn something new every day. So
that's super cool. What do you remember what it was that you were a part of?
I don't remember the exact name of it. I know it was outside of Charlotte, North Carolina last spring.
Well, that's big metal community down there anyway.
Massive. I was wondering because
like a chainsaw metal chainsaw. I don't remember the exact name of it.
That's so cool. I know that at one point in time, there was outside of Louisiana. I think it's in New Orleans actually. The singer of this metal band from back in the day and still continues to play music. His name's Phil Anselmo. He was the singer of the band Pantera. He has a record label that they would have like a house. It's called Housecore, and they would have a Housecore music fest, and he would bring in people that were from old school horror movies and like the founding horror movies and stuff, and have them come in. So yeah, it's 100% all bundled up the same.
I mean, look at Rob Zombie.
Yeah. There you go. Like Rob Zombie directs movies, and he is an actual,
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's super cool.
Years ago, we actually Ellen Sandweiss, who plays Cheryl, has a sister who was friends of the guy from Foo Fighters, Dave
Grohl. Okay.
Dave Grohl. And we actually went to his mother's home in San Fernando Valley, and he agreed to be interviewed by us. And it was phenomenal.
That's crazy.
And we had it on tape. We were filming it and everything, and we thanked the cameraman, and we brought it home, and we checked the audio, and we checked the video, and there was no audio.
No, with Dave Navarro. Oh
no,
my God! I said
Dave
Navarro.
Dave Grohl. Yeah,
I screwed that one up.
We talked to him for over an hour, and he's a huge fan of Evil Dead. Huge fan.
Was he nice?
I always heard no audio. Nice. It was like literally.
Oh.
So we said, well, maybe we could, go to the Sound Gods or whatever, some lab. Maybe it's there. Maybe it's just not in sync, and it was not even. It was just not there. So,
oh man, that sucks so bad, man.
Yeah, that was really too bad. That would have been something nice to have in our pocket,
Oh, absolutely.
And we were at a convention one time with Alice Cooper, if you can believe that.
That's awesome.
We were all we were all in the back kitchen, where a lot of guests go, when they just start trying to get from one place to another. And we had a really wonderful conversation. We saw him again later that night at a party. Oh my God, he loved Evil Dead, and he just thought it was just the grossest thing, but he loved it when the pencil went in my ankle. He just thought that was the craziest
Yeah.
thing ever.
Incredible
So,
scene.
yeah. But I mean, he was really lovely. He just went, oh my God, it's the Evil Dead girls. I can't believe it.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
Crazy
Yeah.
just how like on the cross sides of things, how big somebody can be over here and be such a fan of
That's very
something
crazy,
also
'cause we were-
important. Like
It's very you're right. It's very crazy because we were in the kitchen going, oh my God, do you know who that is over there?
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. We actually watched some. There was like I think it was like an hour long of all like cut scenes and outtake scenes from Evil Dead today. We were just kind of like brushing up on some stuff that were like behind the scenes because I've seen the movie a billion times since I was a child, and then myself and the producer, which is my brother, sat here and we watched a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that I didn't see, and it's so crazy to think that something that incredible came out of a very DIY mentality. Like it was
Oh, yeah.
very like
Yeah.
bare bones, like, and it's awesome to see because where we come from, playing in extreme music, that is a massive part of our thing. It's, do it yourself. You can't rely on the big, at least not yet, and to see this behind the scenes of you guys passing the things around to do the slate and like just little things like that of just like kind of like teamwork in it. And then this movie is like, oh, this is literally the most legendary horror movie that's ever existed in the history of cinema, and it's crazy to see that because it's like, man, these are a bunch of kids that were just like, got an idea, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So-
no, we were kids. I mean, I think, well, I know Teresa is a couple of years older than I, and I know
Mhm.
that we're both older than Sam and Bruce, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. I think Rob Tappert and I are just about the same age, but yeah, I mean, gosh, I think Sam, his goal was to have a feature film in the can. Well, he had a lot of goals back then, and still does, no doubt, but his goal was to have a feature film in the can at a certain time because that would have made him younger than Steven Spielberg.
That's cool.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And he was a kid. I mean, he and Bruce, but they were just kids,
Yeah.
I mean, I literally think I'm 3 or 4 years older than him, but back then that makes you much older.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I loved how playful you guys were. You could tell that there was chemistry because it's like, oh, these guys probably know each other, like know each other. And I was going to ask you that, like,
Well,
did
no,
you
we
guys
don't
know?
know each other, but we do. I didn't meet Sam and Bruce and Rob till just a couple of weeks before the movie.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
But when you are living with someone and you are working 24/7 and living, you very quickly and clearly get their idiosyncrasies. You get the fact. I mean, I remember we were all living in this house while we we're making the movie, and we had no coffee pot. And back then they were called percolators, boys. That's how old we are. They're called percolators. And I mean, some of us call it a coffee pot, but you plugged it in and it percolated up on top, and then the drips came down. And
Okay.
well, Bruce didn't know that, so he offered to make us all coffee one morning, and he took out a pan and put some water in it and some coffee grounds, and he was stirring it. I said, "What are you making?" This coffee. I'm making coffee. So you got to know everybody really well. You got to know their
Right.
personal bathing habits or lack
That's
thereof.
awesome.
But we also, you got to know what we like to eat and what we didn't like to eat and who likes ketchup on what. But you also got to realize soon that we were all in there for the Gipper and we were not going home. That was the one. We were kind of trapped down in Tennessee, meaning none of us had a home or a car to get out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, there were times when we drove that car that was an Evil Dead back and forth from the set.
Really?
That's so awesome.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so cool.
That's so cool.
How long were you guys down there all together? Because didn't some of the cast leave around like the holiday season? Is that because
Yeah,
I didn't?
I think Ellen left right before Christmas. We were there from the end of October. We were supposed to be there like
Wow.
for middle of October, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, and we ended up being there much longer. Teresa, aka Sarah York, she stayed till after the first of the year. I think Bruce and Sam and Rob, they did what's called pickup shots, some some forest shots, some close-up shots, or product shots, or whatever. They stayed, and then actually in the and then we all kind of. And it's really hard to understand, boys, but we had no cell phones, we had no computers.
Right,
so,
right.
once you left the film set, they could only reach you by your home or your apartment telephone, And they called in the spring of '80, and they had to do some pickup shots, but they were going to do them in Michigan. So I have a younger sister, and she met me, and we went to Marshall, Michigan, and shot a bunch of pickup shots.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's cool that at least
That's so cool.
you could go back to at least pretty close and make it.
And so did she take some of the was she doing some replacement shots for you that you weren't there for, or was somebody else that she
My
did?
sister?
Yeah.
I think her hand is in the movie somewhere.
Is that what it is? That's cool. I love that. That's so cool. Because you can't tell. I would never, even to this day, watching it now, I would never know that there was any type of timeline that had a gap, or you know what I mean? Nothing like that.
Well, that's the magic of movies. Yeah. And I did a lot of the voiceovers. I don't even think Ellen knows this to this day, but I did a lot of voiceovers of Cheryl and Shelley screaming and moaning.
Oh,
And
really?
This is because they had me in the studio one day in the summer, and they said, well, hey, can you do this? Can you try and sound like Ellen? Can you try and do this and sound like Teresa? We basically just need some screaming and some moaning and some growling. So
Yeah. That's
there's a
awesome.
lot of me in the movie. You just don't see me.
Sick. That's so cool. That is so cool. What was your favorite part about the whole thing? Because
Leaving.
Leaving. I was say, was it cold? Because it was probably cold, wasn't it? And
It was, it was, it was cold and miserable, and you just kind of said, okay, enough,
Yeah.
We got to move on. But I always say leaving, because by that time I had been there 2 or 3 weeks longer than I was supposed to be.
Right.
And I actually had a bunch of contracts. I had to go back, and I was living in Detroit at the time, but I was contracted to do a bunch of auto shows, where you stand on the turntable and, with a long gown on, and you've showered.
Yeah.
And you've actually, cleaned up a little. And I had to get back. I had to get back right after before the holidays, because I was leaving right after the holidays. There's not really a fun particular moment. I think honestly, the aspect of working together and realizing very early on that this was going to be a village, this was going to be a team effort.
Right.
And that everybody, quite frankly, was just, ponying up and slating the slates and cleaning up. And I know that the three of us actresses, there were only 5 people in the movie. And I know this for a fact, that a lot of times if Sarah York or Ellen Sandweiss was shooting that night, but I wasn't,
Yeah.
We would still all go to the set, because we would support each other.
Right.
First of all, quite frankly, I joke about it when we go to conventions. We had no other place to go to.
Yeah.
But the other times, where we were working in miserable conditions. So if we could throw a blanket or a coat or a sweater over somebody who was just in the cellar for an hour,
right,
and maybe needed, a glass of water or something, we would be there, because you had no assistants. You had nobody else on the set there. It was literally usually the 5 of us actors most nights, and a cameraman, a sound man, Sam. Sometimes Rob Tapper was not even there every night. Many producers are not on the set every show. And maybe a couple of other of friends of Sam's that came to help out, either move props or things like that. So it was a very small company per se. And you just we all knew that this was a dream that Sam had, and Bruce and Rob, and we were all fairly young, but we had morals and ethics, and we had signed something that said we would do this. Nobody walked off. Yeah. Nobody walked off. Nobody left. Nobody said, that's it, I'm out of here, and took the car or the van and left. Nobody did that.
That's so cool. It's almost like when one person wasn't in like the acting. It's like they turned into part of the crew then.
Yeah, very
Yeah, like
oftentimes. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so cool. That's I mean, you guys did it. You know what I mean? It turned out like that's pretty damn well. So
Yeah.
so like the one question that I have in mind about it that I've been thinking about all day, and I've been trying to figure out how to word it is, so when did you get to see at least the first cut of it, like the put together movie, you know what I mean, post?
Oh, yeah. They had so we filmed it in 79 and 80. It did not premiere until I think, what was it, 82? 82? And they had a big premiere in the Detroit area.
Okay.
Oh,
I think it was 82 because actually by that time I had moved to Los Angeles. And again, it was still only phone call. You know,
Yeah.
you had the wall on the phone and I mean the phone on the wall. And but I was actually in Portland, Oregon doing an auto show. And I couldn't, for one night of a premiere and a party, I couldn't leave. So I never saw it until I never saw the movie until I think early or mid 83.
Really?
wow.
And
Really?
it had a limited run here in theaters. And I was dating a guy who later became my husband. And the sound at that time was so bad. And there was so many things that still needed to be cleaned up, which was its unique quality, that we left like 3/4 through.
Oh, I get it though. I understand. Yeah.
It was really hard to watch. It was really painful to watch. And it was painful for my husband, who was a professional sound mixer. And he said, I can't understand this. I don't understand. This is too scary for me. Plus the sound is really bad. So they've made incredible improvements and cleaned it up, of course. And, but that was the first time I saw it.
That's so cool. That's different. That's unique. That's like, did you hear from anybody about like the premiere? That any of the cast members, did they even give you like, hey, like called you and be like, this is how it went? Or
I cannot recall. I'm thinking Bruce or Rob did call. You know, back then you also had a phone service, a message service that you would call who's call me. But I just know that I couldn't do it because I think they may have thought that I was still in Detroit by that time. By that time, though, I had moved to LA, and I was doing a lot of auto shows during, literally from like October until June. So I just couldn't go.
Right. I totally get that. I mean, priorities of the things that you have to do from a movie that 3 years prior to that, it's you can't just like, I'm leaving and then go show up there, and it ends up sounding like how you sounded when you first heard it, and you're just like, oh man, like.
Yeah, and now of course they may also, like, if the three of us did a movie and we couldn't be there, they may send us a cut of it,
Right. Completely different.
They didn't even do that back then. They didn't know how to I mean, it was literally, quite frankly, in 82 and 83, it was before the video stores, so it wasn't like they had any capability of doing it. So
right. I love that. It's cool. It's cool to be like, oh yeah, I didn't even go to the premiere. That's so like cool, I love that. It's different. Yeah. So like I was looking at some of your other like your film credits and stuff, and the one thing that really popped into my brain was, so you were on an episode of The Connors, is that right?
I was on 3 episodes.
3 episodes of The Connors.
Yeah.
And was that before or after Roseanne was off the show?
It was after. It was actually during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
So, which was interesting because I played the part of Carla, and I was an employee at the factory.
Okay.
Where they all worked. And we had no live audience. And it was a time when we were still all testing all the time. So I got the role, and then they sent me somewhere to be tested. And then the night before, I had to go somewhere else to be tested. And then when I drove into the studio lot, in the parking lot, they had me tested again.
Really?
And then on the second day of one of the times I had the 3 episodes, then we tested on the studio lot as well. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the unneeded stress out of the whole situation.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's definitely a lot. Now,
So
I
that
love
was a hard time for all the studios. I mean, for everybody. Don't get me wrong. It was hard for everybody, but that was they just never really, since 21 or early 22, they've never gone back to the factory per se. You know, the characters there have evolved into other occupations, and they've kind of left the factory behind.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since it came back. It was a very important show back in the 90s or 80s.
Since
and 90s.
I was no longer on, right, Josh?
That's
I mean, right. You haven't watched.
That's
Yeah,
exactly it.
That's exactly what we're saying.
Yes.
The reason why I brought that one up in particular is so me and Cody, we grew up mega white trash, and that was like our show. Rose was like growing up. That was the epitome. That was the greatest of all time. I can relate to this. You know what I mean? But so as soon as we seen that, like we're just like, dude, we got to bring that up. There's no way. Evil Dead's cool.
It was
great.
It was a great experience. It was really a great experience, and a couple of those characters, obviously, I can't even remember their names now, but John Goodman and the sister, and the kid, the two older girls, they've been on forever. They've been on forever, and it was a great experience.
That's so cool. What was the atmosphere? Is there a difference in atmosphere as far as being on set for a show versus like a movie? Is there, or is it does it get kind of clouded to where it ends up being like it's just a job? You know what I mean? I don't really know how to explain that.
Well, it's not so much as just a job. It's more of a family. Because a lot of times on a show, if you're there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons, you might have a lot of the same camera people, a lot of the same makeup, there's a lot of the same hair, a lot of the same wardrobe. So you get to be very close to them. And you're there, by the way, on a show. Your lead characters on a show pretty much are there, sometimes Monday through Saturday. 7 until 6 p.m. And it's not unlike a movie set, although a movie set is it's maybe shorter and more defined.
Okay. Yeah.
If the 3 of us work on a movie set, we might only work 3, 4, 5 weeks. And maybe of those 5 weeks that you 2 are working, maybe I'll only work a week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the leads on your TV shows, they really become family. Because they're with each other so long, and they all know each other so well.
I've always thought about that comparison to because growing up, my mom loved soap operas, and there's people that would be on soap operas from being a child to literally like 50s, 60s, years old. It's like their entire career was on this one show, and it's such a wild thing to think about. Like man, you really did start here as a kid. I was like. My mom loved Days of Our Lives, so there was one character.
Oh, I worked on Days of Our Lives, and
did you really?
And I worked on a play with Drake Hodgeston, who actually is the character still. I think I can't remember his name, but you'll go look for it. I mean, he was there when I was in college.
Yeah.
The interesting
when
thing
were
is,
you on there?
Oh, I just played a couple of little tiny parts.
Oh, okay.
I was an Arkansas waitress and went on a few times, and they were trying to crack a crime or something,
Was it when Marlena was possessed by the devil? Because that's my all-time favorite storyline in it.
Maybe. It may be it a few years ago, but Drake and I then worked on a play together here in LA with Catherine Ross called the Nuremberg trial, or the Nuremberg Papers. And all he'd done was Days of Our Lives.
That's so wild.
The interesting tidbit about that is we went to a reading of the play in which all the characters come, and you meet the director, and you just sit around the chair, and you're holding the script and you're reading the lines. So everybody gets a feel for what you're going to say, what Cody's going to say, what I'm going to sound like. And Drake, who memorizes pages and pages and pages every night when he goes home. Right. He had all his lines memorized by the time. And he said, it's just natural for me. It's just, it's just habit. And we said, wow, you just did a whole 3-page monologue totally memorized. This is the first time basically we've seen the script. He said, yeah.
I couldn't. There's no way. I can't remember
That's
anything.
wild.
So I'd be done. I'd be shot. There ain't no way. Do you do a lot of like plays and stage performances? Is that something else that you do a lot of, or?
I haven't in the last 5 or 6 or 7 years, actually.
Okay.
Judgment or Nuremberg. That's the name of the show. I'm so bad. It takes a lot of discipline. And I was doing improv at night as well. So I really enjoy improv. So I didn't want to commit to a play, for long term. So, but I like
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
That's cool. Like the whole concept of being a performer is it gets to the point where it becomes like an identity. Because since I play music, even though it is like metal or like death metal, like you get this audience feel, and it's like a weird like exchange with the person that you're performing in front of, and it's such an intimate thing, especially in our situation because we do play to smaller audiences. So I've always wondered like what acting in front of like a live audience, or like live audience either on the show or like live as in a play setting. Like I bet that's got to be like
The energy from
like adrenaline, like whoa, especially if like you nail it. You know what I mean? Like that's got to be.
Sure,
like,
it's very much
coolest.
like, quite frankly, playing in a loud, heavy metal rock band. You're able to tell within a few minutes, do we have them or do we not have them? And are
That's
they
cool.
with us, or are they just jerking around? And do they even know we're up here? And
Right.
it's the same in a play. You can tell immediately whether they're engaged or whether you don't have them. And your job is to have them. Your job is to not only entertain them, but to have them in your grasp, which is always wonderful. So I'm sure there's a lot of similarities. Yes.
That's so cool. Do you have any plans to do it anytime in the near future or anything? Get back up there and do
No,
it?
I don't have anything. No,
Not really.
nothing's just really been out there that would tweak me to enough
I gotcha.
to do it for a long run or something like that.
Yeah.
Like Evil Dead on stage, the musical. You don't want to do that? Recreate all that.
They do have Evil Dead. They do have the Evil Dead the musical.
Do they really? I didn't know that. I had no clue.
Yeah, they run. It's running all over the United States, and we were in Florida a few years ago. We were asked to go as guests, and then once we got there, they asked us, now look, on Saturday night show, why don't you come, Betsy? Why don't you come hopping out from behind the curtain as soon as Susie Smith, the actress down there, sings one of your songs. And so all three of us, Ellen, Sarah, aka Teresa, and Betsy, we all played cameos and on the stage that night, and it was great. It was
That's
amazing.
so cool.
That's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. When was that?
We did that it was before the pandemic, so I think it was either 2019 or it was 2020.
Gotcha.
But they're
I love
running
that.
now. I mean, we just got contacted. It shows all over the world. They're doing one in Sydney, Australia, and they contacted us about something a couple of weeks ago. So
That's so cool.
I'd go watch one.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I had no idea.
yeah,
I'll have to look at
I
it.
didn't know it was a thing. I would definitely go to that.
yeah.
We they brought back it's like I can't remember what specific company it is. I don't know if it's just one company or if it's something that's like a wide thing. I don't know anything about that side of like movies, but they took Evil Dead and was putting it back in like the drive-ins that are still alive, and they were doing like it's almost like a tour. And my brother and myself, we went to one where they did the showings of Evil Dead 1, 2, and 3, Army of Darkness. And it was like the old, I can't remember what was shot on. I have no clue what film stock it was shot on or what size, but they had like the old reels. And watching it like in a drive-in like that was so wild because it makes me wish that I was around for that stuff, but I wasn't. So it's like being
Was
able to see
Brucey
it in
there?
that.
Was Bruce there?
Not at that one. No, he wasn't like a speaker at this one.
Yeah, because he's done a bunch of that, which is very smart and very clever. He's gone on a tour of some Midwestern drive-ins and done Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, but he must not have been on that one. But it's a fun evening. It's definitely a fun evening.
I would love to hear him just talk about stuff. I feel like he obviously I don't know anything about the guy, but I feel like you'd just be cool just to listen to, like just to talk about stuff. Like I don't know, there's just something about the guy. Like I can't tell if like his character is who he really is, or you know what I mean. I don't know. Is he like that?
Well, he's a man of many personalities. He's incredibly talented. He's incredibly creative. He's incredibly funny. I think he's one of the funniest people I know. And and we see him every once in a while, but he's very creative in his marketing. And yes, he has a lot of stories. He definitely has a lot of stories.
I wish you could get on the. You know what the Last Drive-In is? It's on Shudder. It's what's his name? Joe Bob Briggs.
Joe Bob, yeah.
I've heard of Joe Bob, yeah.
Yeah. So he has a show that's on Shudder, which is like basically like a horror version of like Monster Vision and stuff from back in like the 90s.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll have like guests on that are from like the original horror movies. I would love to see you on there. That'd be so sick if you can get on there.
Make it happen, Joshy baby. Make it happen.
I could try. I'm gonna try because you would be awesome on there. I would love that. But you know what? I think we're going to go ahead and get out of your hair because I know it's probably starting to get towards the evening towards your area. So I think we're going to hop
really
off
late at your house. Yeah, we're just hoping.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just looking for canoes and kayaks.
I hope you don't get flooded out.
Yeah, definitely stay safe.
Yeah, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. You guys get snow. We don't get snow.
You guys, that's right. You guys don't get snow.
We really haven't for the past couple years, though. It's really been really minuscule, not a whole lot.
When it snows, though, like whenever we do get snow, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
I'm walking.
So how far are you? So you're south of Columbus. Is that where you live?
Yeah. We're about an hour south. So it's like in between. It's kind of like in between Cincinnati and Columbus area. Like we fall somewhere down that line.
Okay.
Yeah. So
how far are you from like the Kentucky border or?
About the same. So it's about an hour or almost. If you go Columbus to the Kentucky border, we're right in between. So it's about 45 minutes either way.
Oh, I see.
45 to an hour either way. Directly above Portsmouth on the river there. You go straight up from there. We're right there. About an hour there, hour north. So
nice.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you don't get much snow, and when you do, it's probably just really almost a drag rather than look how nice because
absolutely, because it gets all like around here, it'll snow and then it'll get real slushy and you'll be sloshing in it, walking back and forth in town, and it's just like all right, it was nice when it was falling down. Can we get rid of it?
It was nice for about 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was awesome for 2 hours, but it's been on the streets for about 3 weeks now. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's get this out of here.
Yeah, I listen. Growing up in Michigan, I know exactly what you speak. So,
do you ever go back to Michigan? Do you like go back very often to Michigan at all?
I still have family there. I was just back there just a week and a half ago, actually, just for a few days visit. And I often go back in the summer. I grew up just right in the southwest corner. Literally, if you look on a map, it's like if you were able to hop over from Chicago straight across, that's where I live, or that's where I grew up. So
where is it at? What's
in St. Joseph, Benton Harbor.
Okay, cool.
So we're about half an hour, 40 minutes due north of South Bend.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we whenever my band goes to record, we go to Chicago. So I can't remember if we go through that area or not, but we record always in Chicago. And we're not super far from that area where you grew up. Yeah.
You probably don't take Michigan at all, but you probably just go up and across and up on 65 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I know my highways.
Yeah, you do. I'm just gonna start lying about it. Yeah, what you do is you go to. But yeah, I think we're gonna hop off here and conclude this podcast. Thank you, Betsy. Seriously, you're so awesome and you're so like bright and like fun to talk to.
Oh, I am fun. That's for sure. I am fun. No, I'm kidding. But you guys were great. And it was really a lot of fun. I wish you guys much success and a nice spring and not too much more snow. And
wow, thank you. Hopefully that comes true.
I look forward to that. I look forward to that fact that you're going to be speaking with Joe Bob Briggs. I can't wait to.
I will email him tonight. I'll be like, hey, I know you don't know me. You don't know I exist, but
But I know
listen,
somebody who's a lot of fun.
I got
That
an
always
idea.
gets a good
Somebody's
email
fun.
going.
Yeah.
Do you have any like upcoming projects or anything that you want to kind of shout out right here at the end? Or?
You know, I have a very, very small part, and I don't even know if it's cut, on a film that's coming out later this week called, the film is called Lola. I don't even know if I'm still in it. It's
Gotcha.
possible I'm not, but I have a couple of film projects that I cannot tell you about yet that I've already done, but will be out sometime this year.
Okay.
And fortunately, since the strike has been over, I've been lucky enough to audition for a few things, but I just haven't heard anything yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's all kind of exciting, and this old goat, this OG here is still trying to work and
Killing it.
Keep it up.
I hope so, but yeah.
You're killing it. Maybe whenever those projects that you can't talk about right now, when they come out, maybe if you're interested, you come back want to hang out with us again.
Hey, you guys were a lot of fun. I'd come back anytime.
That
Sounds good. We can do a longer one or whatever next time, and
we're
we can,
marking it down.
we can promote anything.
Okay.
Now. You get to hold
Okay.
the slate this time. So,
Yeah, okay, deal.
but Betsy, seriously, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. Have a great evening, guys, and thanks
You
again.
too.
You see ya. See ya.
Bye. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye.
What's up, guys? It's Cody and
Josh.
from Crazy from the Heat. If you enjoyed this clip or any other clip on our channel, you can go to our link tree or any podcast provider out there. Look up Crazy from the Heat. Find our full catalog, every podcast that we've ever done, essentially, right? It's on all.
On all platforms, and it's the full episode. So you'll get this dumb clip that you were listening to, plus the hour plus of the full episode. So definitely check us out. We're available on all platforms. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everything. Deezer, just in case you guys are one of those.
Full videos on Spotify.
Yep.
Audio everywhere else.
Everywhere else. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.